Hi, this is Kathi Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Now, last week I did Frustration to Function. This week, I'm going to do Frustration to Function, the sequel. Just some little things that sometimes catch us up in the software and make us just a bit crazy. So I want to show you a few more little tips and tricks this week. The first thing I want to start with is we worked with our sequence view last week. I showed you some things in it, and we're going to look at a couple of more things. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to get me some custom shapes. And I'm going to make me a shape. So I've got artwork, correct. If we look in our sequence view, I use the artwork tool by left mouse clicking, held down my left mouse key drag, made a piece of artwork. So this isn't a stitch yet. So let's come down here. Let's select it, because if you don't select it, you can't command it. Let's come down to our one-click wonders at the bottom and left mouse click on the word run. So now I have made this a run stitch. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to, for time, I'm going to repeat this. So let's repeat this. Let's make 4 across. Let's make 4 down. And let's apply that. And let's say OK. So now I have these all here in a row. Now I'm just going to kind of mix these up. And I've got method to my madness here. So let's just take some of these and let's just move them around, put them in different places. You'll understand in a moment what I'm doing for you. So we're moving these where, let's turn off our grid so we can just see better. So we're just kind of moving them around the screen. Okay, this ought to be enough actually. Let's just move this guy down here. If I can hang on to him long enough. I'm just dragging these guys around. Okay. All right, now let's look at our slow redraw and see how this is going to stitch out. Now, in a perfect world, the way we would like it to stitch out is we'd like it to go across, come across, back down, across. We want it to stitch in the most efficient manner possible. Why? Well, less trims, less time, less wear and tear on the X and Y axis, the motors on our machine. And most of all, for most of us, really what it is we would just like things to stitch out as quickly as possible. So let's look and see what we've got. Now it's starting here at the bottom. Let's see, it's jumping around. So this is not exactly what I would like. And by the slow redraw, there we go. So we can see that this is not optimal. So now I might want to resequence this. So it's not as easy as it looks sometimes because these shapes are all the same. They're all the same color. They're all in the same place. Now I could change each one to a different color. And then I could put them in order that way. But let's do what is really cool. Now let's say, okay, that's in the perfect spot. That is, let's see which one that is. Let's select this. Now you can see down here it selected it. Well, that should be my first one. So do you see how it says run next to it? I'm simply going to left mouse click on that. Now notice I have the option to type. I'm going to put number 1. Now I'm going to click on the next one. Oh, that should be left mouse click on this. That should be number 2. Let's go to this one. Oh, that one's in the right place anyway after 2. Let's type in 3. Now I'm typing numbers in here. But what if I needed to type in placement line or right arm or give myself a note, want to change to triple stitch? You can put anything you want in there here because you can type in now, and now it'll hold your information. So now I'm going to come straight down because I want this one to stitch next. Whoa, undo is my friend. There it is. So now this one's going to be 5. Are you with me here, what I'm doing? What I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out where these things are. Now I noticed I'm missing a box, and here it is. It's down here actually. I've got 2 boxes that stitched over each other. I'm going to tell you, these are the kind of things you find with slow redraw and everything. This makes life a little easier sometimes. There we go. Now this will be 6. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want you to get the idea. Okay, here's 7. And let's go ahead and do number 8. Okay. Now, to do this, now that I have numbered these, what am I going to do? Shoot, I'm going to drag and drop. Okay, here's you. So I've got, this is number 1. So I'm going to simply right mouse click and say, you know what? Move this to the first spot. Now I'm going to go to 2. Now 2, I'm just going to drag and drop. That's easy. 3, drag and drop. So what I'm doing is I'm just dragging and dropping these in order because this is the sequence I want to stitch in. Now if I hadn't gone through and numbered these easily for me, it's a nightmare to try and do stuff like this. But this makes it very simple. So now that I've done this, I can come in here. Now let's get number 8. All right, so now let's look at our first 8. It's going to stitch across here. Perfect, perfect. Come down. Wow, just like I wanted. So if you need to resequence and you've got a lot of objects that look the same, or you've got a whole lot of information, just click on it, find it, give it a name, give it a number, whatever you're trying to do. I might want to say, I need this one to be red. I could type in red. I could type in triple stitch, double run, motif run. I can type in anything I want because the software is going to tell you what type of stitch it is automatically. But now we can come in and we can change any of this to anything we want. So in this sequence view, we can drag and drop to resequence. You notice there's a couple of other things I want to teach you about this. Now, you already saw me right mouse click and say move to first position. But I want you to notice here, we've got last positions alternate up and alternate down. Now what that's talking about is you can use your Alt key and you can use your arrows. But now look here, Alt left and Alt right, you don't have to come here every time. So let's say I want to move this run up a couple of bits. So what I can do is hold down my alternate key and look, by just let me change the color of one of these so you can see it move. It's hard to tell because they all look the same. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now this is colony blue. Now if I hit my left key, it goes down. Or my right key, I'm sorry. If I hit my left key, it goes up. So if I just wanted to move something up a little bit here, I can do this very simply. Move it, move it, move it. Now notice it's jumping a whole color, of course, because it's not moving one at a time because this is a different color. If I wanted to take one that was the same color, then left, up, right, down. So that's moving that sequence for me very, very easily using the shortcuts on my keyboard. Much easier a lot of times than dragging and dropping, especially when you have a very long list of objects to move in your sequence view. Sometimes trying to move and scroll at the same time is not so easy. So remember, alternate right and left goes up and down, and use those. Play with that a little bit. Play with that because that's a lot of fun to work with. Now, that's one thing that I wanted to show you. here's something else that sometimes gets hold of us. I'm going to measure this block. So I'm going to come over to my left-hand toolbar to my ruler. Now I'm going to click on that ruler and I'm going to measure. Okay, so I've measured it. Now I'm going to select that block. Okay, now I want to edit it. But you notice, even though, well, of course it does it when you don't want it to. It'll do anything you don't want it to. Let me click another one. I just love it when it does this for me. There we go. I'm going to zoom. Same thing as measuring. It doesn't matter what we do. Let's zoom in on something. Let's zoom in on, let's grab our zoom tool and let's zoom in on this block. All right, now I'm going to select this block. Now notice if I go to the select tool, I no longer have my magnifying glass. However, if I still have my magnifying glass, I can't select it. So I cannot edit it. Always remember, you can hit your escape key and it will let go of your magnifier, your ruler. Then I can come in and select it. And now anything I want to do is available. But it's not available as long as you have your magnifier or your ruler. If I have my ruler on, I can't select anything. And sometimes that'll make you crazy and you can't get, why can't I select? It's because you've got your ruler on. So let's fit this to screen. So I'm going to fit to screen. So with my ruler on, I can't figure out, that is selected. But I don't want that one. And it was selected because I selected it before. So now I can't select, I get a little frustrated. Escape. Now you've got your selection back. Remember, this is your select tool. If it's not active, you cannot select. So sometimes that gets you a little nuts. You'll be working with it, you'll try to select something, you'll get it, and you won't be able to get hold of your shape tool. Well, it will be because you've got another tool selected. So make sure if you've got one of these tools that you can't let go of, make sure to hit that escape or just hit the next tool. Here's another one. When you're slow redrawing, okay, I'm through slow redrawing, how do I get rid of this? Well, I can simply right mouse click and it will let go of my slow redraw. So now that I've let go of my slow redraw, I can now come back in here and start over. But sometimes we don't know how to let go of our slow redraw. We think we have to completely finish. Now what do? There, that it's still selected. Just right mouse click. It will let go and now you can move on. So those are a couple of little tools that sometimes can get us a little nuts. Here's another little quick one. If you're trying to make a shape yourself, I'm not talking about picking one of your artwork shapes. Let's say I'm drawing a shape and I'm going to actually draw one with my run stitch this time. So I'm going to select my run stitch and I'm going to draw a shape. Okay, now I might think I've closed that shape, but I can't see that well sometimes, so I can't always tell. So if you want that shape to always make sure it's closed, when you think you're close or you're through drawing, come down here to your left-hand toolbar, right here. This is our close tool. And if I click on that, that goes ahead. Not only does it close it, it generates the shape. And the reason I'm telling you this is if I do this, and I may think I'm pretty closed, okay? Now, that looks closed to me. I just did a series of left mouse clicks, then I right mouse click to generate it. But let's come in here and look. If I look really close, I didn't close it. So I might be trying to do something this or stitching it and I can't realize, I don't understand why I've got a little gap. That's because the shape doesn't get closed. So by having this close shape tool, that gives you makes you comfortable, you're secure that your shape did close. And these are just some little quirks that can get you when you're working in your software. There's another thing that I get a lot of people asking about, and I know I've shown you how to split, so I'm not going to show you how to split a design, which of course this software does beautifully. But the thing is with splitting a design is when you go to split a design, the software is already assuming a hoop. And what hoop is it assuming? It's assuming the last hoop that you've used, that you've selected. So I'm going to come over here to select a hoop. Now, if I was trying to split a design right now, if I'd brought a design up on my screen to split, this right now with the split wizard would have assumed I've got that 140 by 140 hoop, which overall is a 5.51 hoop. So it would assume that's on there, and that's what it would split to. And I think, why did you make 5 hoopings? I have a much larger hoop. I have a 9 by 9 hoop. Well, that's because the software can only process information it knows. So anytime you want to split, come in and select your hoop first. See, now I could tell it, you know what, I've got an 8 by 8 hoop. Okay. So now when I use that split wizard, even though that I've closed whatever, it's going to know that this is what I was using, and it's assuming this is the hoop I want to split with. So these are just little tips, but sometimes it can be extremely frustrating if you don't realize that you have that. So that's another little quirky thing that can get to you sometimes. Let's turn my hoop off by simply clicking on it, and the hoop's gone. I'm going to bring my grid back. I'm going to go ahead. And one other little quick item. I'm just going to bring in any design here. This will work. There we go. When we look in the segment view, the sequence view, sometimes people miss this. This is such a help. Do you see where it says up here, show all segments? Show all colors. Okay, this can help you tremendously. I want to show you something here. I can say show me all colors. So let's come in here and say I don't want to see all colors. I just want to see the brand. So now I'm only working with this centerpiece is all I'm looking at, which makes it very easy. Now this happens to be a 2-color design. This wouldn't be a whole lot of challenge if I just wanted to work with one color. So maybe we should have gotten a little bit fancier than I got. Let me get a little fancier here. Let's go to free monthly designs. And remember, it's May. Go download your new free designs. We've got some really cute ones. There's an applique in there. I've looked at them. They're adorable. Let's just go to April of this year's. And let's go to our designs tab. And let's pull in a flower. There we go. Alrighty. Now let's come in here. Let's say that I just want to change something in here. We'll just play. Let's come in here. And I just want to see what's in my afterglow. So now if I come in here, there's my afterglow. Now let's say I want to even get fancier. I want to work with parts of this design, but I don't care. I don't want to work with the run stitch. I only want to work with the satins. So I could now come into all segments and say all I want to work with is this satin path. And it's going to close everything else out of my eyes. And the reason this is cool is because now I could take this. I could take all of these. I'm going to select these. And now with those, all at the same time, I could change how the little centers stitch in the stamens on this flower all at once by weeding out, so to speak, the pieces I don't want to mess with. So look at these little easy. It could be very frustrating to try and select just those little pieces all the way around. But by having your satin path, being able to pick your color, be able to pick what you're working with. Maybe I just wanted to change the runs. Maybe these little runs that come out to it, I wanted to change them. So this makes it very easy, which could be very frustrating without all the wonderful tools that you have in Floriani. So I hope you've learned and picked up some tips from this lesson. The sequel, I think we've covered a lot of the little, in the last 2 weeks, some of the most frustrating little pieces that we get to with working with things. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week and have a wonderful Mother's Day.